Ambazonian, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonian, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation.
In terms of your security issue in the Ambazonian fighters or the Amber Boys, what I hear is they are there. They have risen up legitimately in the case of being able to provide defense, sense of security, etc. But they are, at the end of the day, far more organized than what is portrayed out there. So they are far more organized than they are perceived to be, and that there are possibility of getting into discussions with them in an organized way.
Yes.
I think I heard a very interesting point that actually the people that should be the spokespeople are political leaders rather than military leaders. That the military leaders are willing to be subordinate to the political leaders.
Correct.
Who
Yes.
are to be found in prison and in the diaspora.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. So coming to my next point on the summary, I have a quote-unquote structure that seems to have emerged. There are Ambazonian leaders in prison. Who are your leaders? There is an interim government. There are supposed to be, or you are trying to figure out from that who your negotiators will be, and that you have a quote-unquote fighting force in that order. As to whether the clarity of that structure has been completely fulfilled is not clear yet, okay? But I do want to, sorry, go ahead. Defense force, okay. So leaders in prison, an interim government, and then you are trying to establish a set of negotiators who are the voice of those leaders from the diaspora. Is that correct? It is that you are not looking to have separate negotiators, but you want your leaders to be released or as part of the negotiation.
Madam Moderator, your summary number 2, the way you used the word Ambazonian, can you just read it again? Needs correction. I think we should go by what we decided yesterday.
The Southern Cameroon.
It's the territory of Southern Cameroon, in brackets, Aka, or also called Ambazonian.
Okay.
You can add that.
Is my
There's
note
Southern
taker taking
Cameroon.
this down?
It should be Southern Cameroon, the territory of Southern Cameroon.
Sorry, is the note taker taking this down? Yeah, thank you. So the territory of Southern Cameroons, also known as Amazonia, and their fighters are more organized, yes, than it has been perceived. And you have leaders in prison who you want to be at the negotiating table. I want to just recall something from yesterday's discussion, and that is that the link between your political and your defense force has to be really tight, because your ability to deliver on your agreements is going to be based on that cohesion. Okay? So, correct, did you have anything to add to that summary?
No, that's fine.
So that's it for this session. I like to just provide a 1 or 2 minute walkabout in this room just to stretch your leg before you restart the session.
is Fru Nkimbeng, host of the African Hour. We've just finished a very successful a conference here at University of Massachusetts here in Boston, the land of the patriots, and we are overseeing a beautiful lake behind. It's a privilege for me. I am here with one of the most outspoken, who is very passionate about the struggle for the liberation of Ambazonia, my sister, Dr. Emma Osong. Could you please introduce yourself to my viewers and my audience?
Thank you, Mr. Kimbeng, my brother. I want to return the compliment and also share with your audience that I find it very important to state the sacrifice that you've made, the time and resources you've spent in sharing with the whole world the story of the people of the former British Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, who are now part of the country called Cameroon. If I recall, you're one of those very strong activists who not only talk to Ambazonians, but you've made it a point to lobby your Congress people, the United States, your local representatives, to join us in the fight to bring a permanent, lasting solution to that area. I think many of us will remember you for the fact that the city in which you live in, Lowell, is a sister city to Bamenda, and for that we are grateful, because this is not only the beginnings of economic linkages, but also the fact that we have people elsewhere in the world who are interested in our plight. So I want to thank you for that. Yeah, my name again is Emma Osong, and I call myself a citizen activist, and I think that suffices. It says everything that I'd like to share with everybody.
Thank you very much for that powerful introduction. I think I would like to turn this interview differently, because we always talk about what goes on at home in Cameroon, but I would like us to focus on us in the diaspora. Maybe what is it that you think us in the diaspora could be doing to galvanize our unity and support, so that we speak with one voice and like one people? Because our brothers and sisters on ground zero, they are paying the ultimate price with their limbs, blood, and lives. What can we do in the diaspora so that the international world should know about our suffering?
It's a very simple answer, and I think in a way you've already answered it. There is a great desire for unity, for coherence, for projecting to the world a sense that we, though in conflict, are working towards the same goal. I think the singular most important thing that we can offer to our suffering brothers and sisters who are faced every day at the barrel of the gun, who are hiding in the bushes, who for some are languishing in jail, and others have paid the ultimate price. Those of us in safe harbors, what we are referring to as the diaspora, can offer those back at home beyond assistance, beyond remittances, is to come around the problem, around the conflict, and agitate and work as a collective. I know it sounds so simplistic to make those representation, but it's important that we, wherever we find ourselves, we talk to not only internally, echoing the same thing within the same chambers that we find ourselves, but go outside of that and engage with our local representative. A lot of Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, have done a good job, but there's still more to be done in lobbying their representatives in Congress. But as long as the average, I live in America, as long as the average citizen in America really does not hear about the conflict, is to the extent that the world does not. Let's face it, America is a big echo chamber around the world. Some conflicts, as I have said, are so much in the national dialogue, and they do happen 7,000 miles elsewhere. It's because also of the activism and political mobilization of the diaspora. And that is not done only at the level of being an activist. That occurs when we come together, design and create a platform where every Southern Cameroonian's voice can be heard, mobilize ourselves as a political force that can address the issues that we face, that the world can engage with, so that when we speak around the issues in a coherent, consistent, and collaborative manner, such that when there are sympathizers internationally, which I believe there are many international sympathizers. However, the challenge is they are afraid to put their reputation on the line because they don't know, Mr. Kimber, my brother, whether to speak to you and what you would secure from them would be acceptable to your larger constituencies. So our fragmentation, a multiplicity of voice, there is diversity, there's advantages to diversity, but hyper-diversity is a disadvantage for us. And if there's ever an appeal that one can make for any peace-loving Ambazonia, Southern Cameroonian, is that those of us on the safe harbors thousands of miles away, otherwise known as the diaspora, is to see how we can coordinate, albeit in a multitude diverse ways, and harmonize a platform that can begin to orient as a political movement to make the case.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's very, very powerful. I think I am always of the opinions that grassroots mobilization and walking the streets with the average man, when once you build grassroots mobilization and canvas the street, the people in power can see if we can inform those who are Southern Cameroonians to join us, our case will be very strong. So this conference has been going on. Please, could you just summarize it briefly, what your opinions are for this conference?
It was a very informative, very deliberative, and in some extent a bit engaging and contentious conference for all the right reasons. When you bring such diversity and multitude voices in one room around an issue that is so passionate to each individual, you're going to get those types of discussions that sometimes are emotional. So for that, we are better off for it, to the extent that we come together. What I take away from this conflict are many things. There were so many well-informed panelists and engaging discussions. So the takeaway for me is that there is a need for harmonization. There is a need for coherence. So it is my hope, as is the hope of all the conference participants, that we can move here and begin to build more inclusiveness in the way we orient ourselves. Again, I go back to this political mobilization, getting past that nascent phase of activism into how we can make ourselves more appealing to those who might be able to lend support to a cause.
From my sister, Dr. Emma Osom. My sister, thank you very much. And for everyone to know that she flew all the way from DC to attend this conference. I wish you travel. I hope you travel safely.
Yes,
thank you. Yes. Good afternoon again. My name is Fru Nkimben, host of the African Hour. We are winding down the conference here at UMass Boston. And one of our important guests who flew all the way from Colorado is Dr. Ajumbe Wingo. You are very welcome to Boston and to African Hour. I'd like to take this moment to say that we in Boston are very, what can I say, it's a little bit cold now, and we are very welcoming, and this is the land of the patriots. So welcome. Yeah. I would first of all allow you to introduce yourself and say something to our audience.
My name is Ajume Wingo. I am a professor at the University of Colorado, Boulder. So we organized two conferences. One was a roundtable at the United States Institute of Peace, and then a conference here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, to brainstorm on the crisis that is going on in Cameroon, west of the Mongo, or southern Cameroon.
Thank you very much, Professor. It's really a unique opportunity that this crisis has been going on close to 3 years, and I would say for more than 50 years, because we have been under bondage for that long. And any Southern Cameroonian of age should know that we have been living in a country we considered ours, but they did not consider us as really part of Cameroon. Could you tell our viewers what is going on in the southern Cameroon and right up till now, or what has prompted you people to organize this conference?
Anyway, what has prompted me to bring in the people that I brought in to begin to help bring the two parties together and get into a conversation and to a peace conversation was basically I'm from So, and a member of the royal family, and anything that happened there happens to me. Anyone that is killed, any home that is burnt, any kid that doesn't go to school, the business that are not open, and this is not just in So, it goes across the entire region, meaning the entire southern Cameroon. And in 2017 and 2018, I decided to go down to the ground to meet with the people. And I went through Southwest, and then I went through Northwest, and I tried to listen to the people on the ground, and I wanted to find out from them what it is that they wanted. And they didn't get into political abstractions like sovereignty and the rest. All they told me is that they wanted the carnage to stop. They wanted their kids to go back to school, to their playground, women to go to the market, to go to their farms, people to return to their homes, to bury the dead, unite with their neighbors, and they wanted that immediately. And then for that to pave the way for permanent and durable solution. And I, for one, I wanted this to happen so that the young people that are fighting in the bushes, they are not, all of them are not young, that they are fighting, that they can also sit on the table. I, in particular, am invested in that, because this problem, even though it impacts all of us, but it impacts them even more, because at the end of the day, these are the people that will get marginalized. So they weren't in the table when this happened. When at the end, when people are, when it's all said and done, they will be marginalized, they'll be forgotten. So in fact, that is why I'm out there, because of the death, culture of death that now engulfs us. Starting with the military and going on.
Well, it's not a surprise. We share the same background. We come from royal families. I'm a descendant of the Mancon royal family. So with that, you take the traditional approach. We were talking about culture. Our culture is our identity. And what being in the white man's country has made us feel that we are white men. And that some of us feel that we are white men. And that we look down on our cultural values. You went to the source, investigated, and talked to our brothers and sisters, connected with them, and you came here. You are mobilizing the troops here to see how we can elevate our struggle and put it at the international stage. I really applaud your move. I encourage each and every Southern Cameroonians to do that, because we sit and blame ourselves. Why is the international press not carrying our message? Why is the international organization, foreign countries not carrying our message? But I would say the blame is in us, because we left Cameroon to come and meet with the white man. When the white man goes to Cameroon, to be able to achieve the use the Cameroonian. You and I are here. That hall, I expected to see non-Southern Cameroonians, but the hall is packed full with Southern Cameroonians. How can we be talking to ourselves and blame the people out there? So thank you very much for taking this initiative. And I would also like to, as we go further, you see, now this is a different generation. Okay. Being from Southern Cameroon, I cannot really avoid asking you this question. What is the difference between how our brothers and sisters are fighting this struggle, paying with their limbs, blood, and life, and the way we here in the diaspora also take the struggle?
The difference is vast. I think when as we are fighting here in the comfort of the University of Massachusetts with air conditioning, heaters and everything, and the comfort of Massachusetts, I think we need to reflect and carry, like we say, go from the bottom up. Forget about the abstraction. Let's go down and capture the aspirations of the people that are on the ground. Those are, if we are fighting for them, we need to follow their aims and do what they say they want. And what they want is to go back to their homes. What they want is security. And they are ready to even go to the enemy's camp or anywhere away from where they are to get their security. And I think that for us here, we deal with abstraction. That is not to say that all of us here, we are affected one way or the other. Even people that are on the other side, the Francophone, they are affected, because the vegetable and everything that comes from Bamenda, from Buya, they are not coming anymore. And they have been intermarriage and intermingling and all of this. So it is something that we need to go down to the ground and take from the people that are sitting on the ground. Those young people that are fighting in the bushes, my heart goes to them. My heart goes to them. And the people that have remained behind, my heart goes to them. It doesn't matter the aims, it doesn't matter what is going on. We need to have them on the ground. We need to sit down and reflect what it is like to be out there.
Okay, then I would also like to add this, that our brothers and sisters across the Mongo, we don't hate them. But growing up in Cameroon, and also I have families on both sides of the Mongo. But what I will tell is, and what our brothers and sisters on the other side of the Mongo, on the French Republic, they know the truth. What they would not want is for someone to say, today become an Ambazonian in Cameroon. Understand what I mean? Today, let you, the Francophones, become an Ambazonian in Cameroon. They will not want to be, because that is the problem. They have looked at us as subhumans. They have looked at us as strangers. They have looked at us as the enemy within. If a Francophone can say, I want to become an Anglophone today and go through what we are going through, then Cameroon will be a good nation. But we have gone past that. We are two separate people. And with this conference today, what are your overall view about the conference?
It is wonderful. It brought in so many people. As we say, some of the time it looks like a ghetto, because a ghetto is a bunch of people that speak among themselves about themselves. It looks like that, but it is more than that. We've come together. People have been able to. We've been able to meet different people from different places and realize that they are in pain. Everyone that I found there is in pain. And one of the things that I realized, that I hate, is that they are ready to dialogue. I think that's one thing that people are misunderstanding. Even people on the other side that are misunderstanding is that they think that these people, they don't want to talk. What I learned from across is that people are ready to dialogue. Okay, I think I just want to say that, put it down. Sure, there are terms, and the terms come later on or come after, but people are ready to dialogue, because any conflict, no matter what, must end on the table, and it must come to the point where people are ready to dialogue. And I think I heard that, and I'm very happy, and we can go from there and see what to do.
One important point: we are ready to dialogue. We are not enemies, because in that room, you would not believe, we had our brothers and sisters Francophones that were in the art room. They shared their views and they were well attended to, and that is what we encourage. So thank yeah. Yes. Regardless, geographically, we are in that area. We will never leave. They will still remain our brothers and sisters. So thank you so very much. And on that note, I'd like to thank you very much, and I wish you safe journey back to Colorado.
Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name again is Fru Kimben, and it's been a very busy day here in Boston, the land of the Patriots. We just finished a very successful conference on the crisis engulfed in the southern Cameroon. Not only crisis, but the genocide that's going on in southern Cameroon. It's a privilege for me to welcome a sister from Maryland. You flew in from Maryland, and that shows how important you consider this. And you are very passionate, very outspoken. I listened to you in the hall. You have some fire in you, and I really was very impressed of you speak with the wisdom of an old person. So keep up the fight. I would Etambi Jesse. So I would like Miss Etambi Jesse to introduce herself and tell my audience a little bit about what the fire that makes her move about southern Cameroon.
Thank you very much. Well, introducing myself, this is Jessie Itambi. I think, like many of us Ambazonians, I'm just an activist that is in the struggle to ensure that we regain our independence and free homeland. Well, basically, I've been involved in the struggle from when the last phase of it started in 2016, and we've carried on from then till now. And there hasn't been a single day or week that one hasn't participated in or contributed to issues affecting the struggle or issues of the struggle. I am also part of the diplomatic team of the IG. I'm the chief of staff in the Department of Foreign Affairs, under, of course, the leadership of the Secretary of State, Professor Anyangwe Carlson. And we have been trying very hard, and we having gradual but gradual successes. They've started to show in. Been trying to get our message out there, to get the powers that be to listen to us and to understand exactly what our plight is. And we are happy that the results are already showing. It might be a painstakingly slow process, but that is what it is. Diplomacy is always extremely very slow, because there are multiple parties playing multiple cards. So that's me, and overall, I'm just your average Takumbeng on the block, fighting for the people.
Unless you understand, Takumo is the woman power in this struggle. That's a very, very powerful, what should I say, very, very powerful organization. Thank you very much for that summary. You talk about your position in the interim government. Good. That is one of the leadership organization, because there's always a structure. I could tell that you have a knowledge of as to how the struggle the the struggle runs, because from the way you spoke in there, I was asking myself, who is this woman? But thank you for your service. I know that all what we do volunteer service. Okay. Being a member of the IG, I know it is very, very difficult to work, and also a lot is also expected of you. And people don't know that being in this very busy and crazy society, you give off your time to volunteer your time for the struggle of our people. And our people don't really appreciate that. I do understand that I am one of those who appreciate. I always live by the premise that ask not what the institution has done, but ask what you in your little corner has done to facilitate and make progress advance, because we Southern Cameroonians, we are very negative. This, I want you to share, to look at the camera and share to my audience, what are your impressions about the conference of today, and what do you think that anything was accomplished?
Of course, I think it was a very important and very educative and informative conference. The past 2 days have been extremely educative for me. I mean, we've had like what 7 to 8 panel discussions in the 2 days on different topics, and it was very interesting to see the different perspectives that the different panelists were bringing on board. I believe that, like you said, our people sometimes do not really understand certain things, and I think it is okay, because like we say, we're all taken unawares on this, and it is a continuous educative process where we need to continuously educate them on what is at stake, what needs to be done, and how it needs to be done. And while we might have an understanding of what needs to be done, I think sometimes we fumble on the how to do that which needs to be done. And it is only when we come together as a people, and not as a grouping, but as a people, to events like this, that we're able to understand the how of how things like this are happening, and how they should be managed, and not just talking amongst ourselves. And we were fortunate these 2 days that we had we had advice, and we were able to have discussions with people, experts who have been involved in conflict resolution across all over the world for so many decades. And they've been able to give us an insight as to what we need to do to ensure that we are able to quickly resolve the issues that we have and gain our independence. So it was a great 2 days. I learned a lot. Specifically, I was pretty much very impressed with the way the panelists are knowledgeable, knew exactly what they were talking about, and of course the passion that our people brought to the conference. You just couldn't deny it. And there is just one thing that Ambazonians want. They just want their independence. So, but I'm glad that I came because I learned a lot about processes that need to do with conflict resolution and everything.
Wonderful. I told you she has the energy. I am very glad. Thank you for what you do, but I would like you to know that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Serving in the interim government, I know it has not been easy, and it's not going to be easy. Because I know our people. It's easy to throw stones than to receive them. But you have been on the receiving end. So I thank you very much. What are the challenges of representing our people in the interim government? Or what advice, and also what advice will you give to those who are throwing stones all the time?
I think that's a very good question. First of all, our people, as in the masses out there, need to understand that a revolution is not a child's play. A revolution is not a day's affair. A revolution is not a week's or a month's affair. A revolution is something that takes everything that you are made of and challenges it. It challenges you physically, challenges you emotionally, financially, spiritually. It challenges you morally. And unless, of course, you truly believe that your people deserve the freedom you're fighting for and that they have no choice but to do that, otherwise you would easily give up. As to how do we manage the challenges that come from our people, I have been part of the interim government from when the interim government was created from the fourth conclave. I've been part of the cabinet that Sisiku appointed in November of 2017, and I've been in that structure throughout. While I acknowledge that it's not easy to receive the stones that you are thrown, like you said, it's not easy. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. It is something that goes with the conviction that you have. I remember when the revolution just started, and some of us were talking to some anti-apartheid activists in South Africa. The advice we got was actually we were told to ask ourselves a couple of questions to determine if we were really ready to free our people or not. And some of those questions were, one, are we willing to have our reputations ruined? Are we willing to probably die in the process? Do we acknowledge that there are risks to friends and family? And do we believe that we have no choice but to fight for what we were fighting for? And if the answers, if you have a yes to these questions, if there are some no somewhere, then you have to rethink. But for you to actually throw yourself out there and do that which you have to do for the people, you must believe these things. And we were told that revolutionaries never benefit from the revolution. It is purely a sacrificial service. And so when you join and when you decide to fight for your people, that is what you have to have at the back of your mind. You are sacrificing, you are volunteering, and you will not be appreciated. Even Jesus was not appreciated in his homeland. So you get all of this. But I want to plead with our people. Enough with the throwing of stones. Enough with beating ourselves down. Enough with the negativity. I'm hoping that somewhere the people are tired of throwing stones and they're mellowing down and they now want to just get a vision and drive with, and that is why we've been here these past 2 days, because no matter how many stones are thrown, the revolution doesn't go anywhere. People are still being killed on ground zero, so we cannot stop doing what we are doing. Their issues have not been resolved, so our people need to mellow down, think, do research, read about other revolutions, think about the impact of what they are doing before they do it. Our people need to have a sense of responsibility towards the revolution. It is not the people that are in the interim government, it's not the leaders that are in jail, it's not just the our people on ground zero that are ultimately responsible for the revolution. It is actually every single Ambazonian who believes that he or she has a right to be free, and then that Ambazonian has a responsibility to ensure that there is maturity, there's respect, and there is a sense of commitment and loyalty to the revolution, and that we focus on institutions and not individuals, and that we stop with the group formations and start thinking as a people. If we're able to overcome all of this, and these are some of the lessons that came out, or some of the echoes from the 2-day workshop: harmonizing. We do not need to unite and become a tightly knitted bundle, but however, we can actually build a pyramid where we have harmonized all our structures and ensure that we are speaking as one people, and we have a pivot in the struggle. We have a leadership we can trust. We have everything that we need to actually pursue this revolution.
Jesse, I didn't make a mistake to say that you speak with passion. In this revolution, I always say that when once you are writing a comment, when once you are sitting behind the keyboard in the comfort of your office or of your air-conditioned room to write something to somebody, think this way: if that person stands in front of me, would I look at that person in the face and read what I have written? If we could just take a moment to think that way, we would be more human than we are on the virtual world. And I would also say that there is no perfect individual. If someone has done something wrong in this struggle, and if you advise that person in a very polite, respectful manner, I think that person would have the courage to be able to self-correct than you throwing stones without giving any suggestion or improvement as to how to make things better. And if we could just feel that there's no single individual, any single Southern Cameroon, there are some who would like to benefit out of it, but that we all want to reach Boya. And if we want to reach Boya, mostly this goes to us in the diaspora. We are fighting over nothing. We are fighting and letting the enemy take the jewel and run away with. We are in the bush. You cannot be sharing what you have not caught. So my plea to all of us is, let us consider each other brothers and sisters. And on that note, I would like to thank you very much for your service, and always keep going. You took onto this not because you wanted to get paid for, because as I heard your story, you lost a very dear member of your family, very close to you. And each and every one of us has a story to tell that relates to each other. And if we can only look at the pain that each and every one of us have suffered in this struggle, let us not be killing ourselves. Let us be one. And in unity, there's always power. And in power, there's victory. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.